Hello, my name is Joseph Deegan and this is my final media project for the Manchester College. I've taken it upon myself to do a research documentary on a groundbreaking solo artist, Ed Sheeran. On the 17th of February 1991, John and Imogen Sheeran were blessed with a son named Edward Christopher, or simply Ed. Born to a lecturer and art curator father and jewelry designer mother, it was clear that Ed was to grow up in an artsy household, and would subsequently have creativity in his blood. Although, if you would have met Ed as a child, he probably would have told you different.
It's adorable.
I was a weird kid. No, I was
think
strange.
that works for you, though.
I was really strange. I didn't really have
Really?
many friends in primary school. I think if you're a weird kid, you grow up to be an interesting adult.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As a self-confessed weird kid, the younger Ed Sheeran had a stammer, wore huge NHS glasses, and also had a birthmark on his face, which has since disappeared. Growing up in Hebden Bridge and then moving on to Suffolk, life as a child for Ed Sheeran was far cry away from the buoyant, confident songwriter, performer, and glorified pop star we know him as today. At the age of 4, Ed began singing in a local church choir. Shortly afterwards, he picked up a guitar for the very first time. Ed would spend hours practicing and listening to records which would later inspire his own hits. He cites Eminem as the artist which helped him get over his stammer, as Ed would regularly listen to Eminem songs and rap along. The fast pacing of the words enough to help Ed with his speech, and ultimately his singing.
Dre said, nothing new it is, so Dr. Dre's dead, he's locked in my basement. Feminist women love Eminem, chicka 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 Slim Shady, I'm sick of him, get him, walking around, grabbing his you know what, flipping a you know who, yeah but it's so cute though, man.
Although, in a recent interview on Radio 4's Desert Island Discs, Ed admitted that he couldn't really hold a tune until about the age of 16.
No, actually, I couldn't really hold a tune up until I was about 16.
Are you kidding?
That is 100% true. I was on the Jonathan Ross show and told him about it, and he said that's not true. And I pulled up a clip of me singing when I was 14, totally off key.
By the time Ed was attending Thomas Mills High School in Suffolk, he had built up a well-stocked library of his own songs, and in 2004, prior to achieving mainstream success in the 2010s, Ed released a little-known album titled Spinning Man, named after a picture his dad owned. At the age of 16, Ed left Thomas Mills High School and moved to London at an interesting point in his life. Whilst in London, Ed played small venues in an audacious attempt to chase a music career.
You might be left with my hair, but you have your mother's eyes. Oh, I'll hold your body in my hands, be as gentle as I can. But for now, you're a scan on my unmade plan, so small.
In true superstar fashion, Ed wasn't immune from reality TV. On his route to becoming one of the world's best solo artists, Ed tried his hand in acting by auditioning on an ITV show called Britannia High. After being asked to dance, and thus providing he had 2 left feet, it is needless to say Ed didn't get very far.
Darling, I've been waiting for you.
His voice is what Britannia High is all about.
Nevertheless, he didn't give up on a music career, although he did come extremely close. In 2010, after slugging away doing various different gigs in various different places all across London, Ed got what he thought would be his big break. He managed to sell out the Cargo venue in Shoreditch, in which 500 people turned up to watch, and Ed played at the biggest show of his career so far.
You are mine, I'd never let you go. And it's you I miss.
However, at the end of the night, he found himself alone at the bar with a dead phone and no money to get home. He walked to a friend's house nearby for the first and last time. He thought to himself, I can't do this anymore. It was the lowest point of Ed's career, just after he thought he'd hit the highest heights. But thankfully, it won't get him down for too long. As in 2011, Ed took his 50p number 5 collaborations project to the offices of a record label, and was told whilst it was good, he should probably give it out for free. Ed decided to release it through iTunes independently and see what happened. Number 5 collaborations would eventually rise up the iTunes chart to number 2, a move that caught the eye of his future manager Elton John. The EP gained a massive mainstream success without any promotion or record label, selling over 7,000 copies in his first week.
Hold tired, pale face like Michael Myers, bags underneath my eyes, shoulder baggage I've acquired. And over time, up in this maze, I think you'll find you'll never find that peace of mind you seek to find until you're dying. So I've got too much to stay awake for, to sleep, breathe and take 4 seconds out the game, it's time to wage war. Scissors, grab the swords, sharpen up the hunting knives. 2 psychopathic lyricists are driving on the hunt tonight.
3 months after the EP was released, over 1,000 fans turned up to Ed's free show at the bar Fly in Camden Town. Ed then signed his much sought after record deal with Asylum Records in the UK and Atlantic Records in the US. And in September of 2011, Ed released his debut album Plus, which debuted at #1 on the UK albums chart, selling over 100,000 copies. The most popular single from the album would be The A-Team, which is certified 6 times platinum in the UK and also landed him the Ivor Novello Award for the best song musically and lyrically. It was also 2011's best debut single, with over 800,000 copies sold.
Sells love to another man. It's too cold outside for angels to fly. For angels to fly.
A year later, Ed won 2 Brit Awards for the Best British Male Solo Artist and Breakthrough Act.
Fans, every single promoter that's ever booked me, every single label, every single radio DJ that's ever played me, and my label. I'm really bad at this, thank you.
In 2014, Ed released his second album, Multiply, which again went to #1 in the UK album charts. In 2015, Multiply won Ed Sheeran another Brit Award for Album of the Year, and again found himself at the Ivor Novello Awards, this time winning Songwriter of the Year. Ed also bagged himself 2 Grammy Awards for his most successful single to date, Thinking Out Loud.
70. And baby, my heart could still fall less hard at 23. And I'm thinking about how.
The best part about all this success that Ed Sheeran has had is that he has done it all independently. An incredible songwriter, as well as writing and performing his own songs, Ed has written for some of the biggest artists in the world today, including the likes of Taylor Swift, One Direction, Justin Bieber, and even Major Lazer. He has also performed with some of the world's biggest artists too, lining up guest appearances alongside the likes of Elton John, Rolling Stones, Beyonce, and Paul McCartney, to name a few.
Drunk in love, we be all night. Love, we be all night. Love, we be all night. Take a shot.
In recent years, Ed has set up his own record label under the name Gingerbread Man Records. So far, he has signed Foy Vance and Jamie Lawson, the latter having his own successful single last year with Wasn't Expecting That.
I thought love wasn't meant to last. I thought you were just passing through. If I ever get the nerve to ask, what did I get right to deserve somebody like you? I wasn't expecting that.
Just 4 years after the release of his debut album, Ed returns to London, the location of his first ever sold out show, to become the first ever solo artist to sell out Wembley Stadium. Performing in an incredible 3 nights run, the concerts were also filmed as a tour film titled Jumpers for Goalposts.
Love will scar your makeup and lipsticks to me, so now I may be laying back there. I'm sat here, wishing I was sober. I know I'll never hold you like I used to.
In 2017, Ed released his third album, Divide, to worldwide critical acclaim, truly cementing his place as one of the biggest and best solo artists ever to come out of Britain. This has been Joseph Deegan on behalf of the Manchester College. Thank you for watching.
Maybe I'll get you. I'll be trying again. I'll be trying again. Feel a little love. I wanna hold your heart in both hands. Now would you visit at the bottom of a coke can? And I got no plans for the weekend, so should we speak then? Keep it between friends. Though I know you'll never love me like you used to.